Good gaming champions. It's your boy Matt, and with me as always, the other boys. We've got Dion, we've got Shay. Dion, we've got some big news we got to break. We'll get to that in a minute because you're looking a little tired today. You're a little run down. We got some big news in the Voss family, and then we've got Shay there in the end looking fly as ever. Your wife gave you a great haircut recently too, didn't she?
My barber did. My wife did my hair. The little these things right here.
Okay.
She did that, and I love her for it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a partner right there for you. So with that, speaking of partners, we of course have to thank this week our partners. And Shay, who is our partner?
You know, just a small company. You know, we like to support small businesses. A little company. I don't know if you heard of them. They call Van Ryder Games. Van Ryder Games. They make a. I heard they made a solo game. We're talking about later.
Is it new?
It's you know, they have a new season of it.
Okay.
Yeah, but Van Ryder Games is sponsoring this month.
So I cannot think of a more exciting thing for Shay than our partner of Van Ryder Games. So thank you for that. And of course, we'd be remiss if we did not mention Voss Media Board Game Cafe in the beautiful, where are we? Galesburg, Michigan.
Yes.
And
the only thing in Galesburg, Michigan.
So with that, there is some huge Voss Media Board Game Cafe news. So we have to announce the birth of baby number 5, the future of Voss Media Board Game Cafe.
Throw 'em up.
Victor Von Voss. Arguably one of the greatest names I've ever heard in my entire life.
Total villain.
Total villain.
Total villain. Great name.
He's already got it marked.
Marked villain. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. So if you've ever wanted to know how committed to this Dion is, he barely can keep his eyes open. His wife is doing her best at home, and we thank her for letting Dion be out of the house to film episode 5.
Letting you be out of the house. Can Dion come out and play? Come on. Okay.
We'd have to throw some rocks at your window.
Yeah.
What are boys doing out there?
It's the boys. Yeah.
Baby's trying to sleep.
Yeah, that's what I had to do.
So,
kicked out maybe. And
of course, we want to thank all the champions out there for being with us for episode 5 here. Thank you. We've got a great show. And before we get into that, we want to say, please remember to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to check us out on Spotify as well, in case you're out doing the chores or maybe buying some diapers and baby formula.
Fair.
That's you.
well, yeah.
So,
No baby formula.
no,
but yes.
well, not
Well,
yet.
no,
Not yet.
no, no,
Never.
never baby
We
formula.
won't get into that
No.
today.
Yeah,
So
we'll get different episode. A different
maybe
channel.
Different channel.
comments, baby formula or natural.
No,
so,
that's it.
so speaking
Champions
of,
of babies. Okay.
Champions and babies.
Never mind.
I have to have a top 10 best baby games.
I don't think
all
that's
of them
a
will be
thing.
from Haba, but
Yeah.
but yeah.
So speaking of comments, let's go ahead and get into, of course, we've got viewer comments, which we love to highlight those of us in our community and give some recognition and thanks to all of you. So if you'd like your comments to be highlighted, please make sure that you, of course, like and subscribe, but leave those comments. They definitely help the algorithm, help get us some little more visibility and help us grow this wonderful channel and this community that we're trying to build with you. So with that, the comments we have on our previous video, episode 3, is actually where some of these are from. BB6164 says, "Great job, guys!" Just an exclamation point.
And
Love
a hashtag Team Dion. So just so we're clear, that was on there too. On that one.
Did you see that?
Hashtag Team Dion.
I'm not gonna lie to
I don't know who it
people.
is.
I've seen
but
it.
I'll take it.
We don't know who it
I
came
will
from.
take that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
We
I
have
A lot
no
of haters.
clue.
I'll take the winner.
didn't see that. So we'll believe you.
Yeah.
Because you just had a baby and I know
Well,
you're tired.
I am, but
totally wasn't a hallucination.
Nope. It was hashtag Team Dion.
Over fatigue. Second, from Brian Zirkle 304, he says, "Brandon's beeps are pure gold." Well, joke's on him because we fired Brandon.
Brandon's
we
gone.
He's gone.
Which we did, and I forgot to mention this in the intro, but we'd be remiss if we did not mention our wonderful addition after we fired Brandon for his single A producer work ethic. But we brought in AI Bot, and AI Bot was pretty good week 1.
Sorry, he needed an upgrade.
There were some delays,
Needed an upgrade.
some issues, but thankfully for us, there was a patch update.
Hey.
So we've got the new version. So AI Bot, how are you this week?
Doing great, Matt. Now with 33% more beeps.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know about that at all.
We should
So,
not have.
you learn any new languages for us, AI bot, or
9.
okay? All right. Well, we'll look
Beautiful.
forward to hearing some of those.
Yeah.
I'd love to evolve our language here. So with that, another comment we had was, this is on our Spiel episode. Spiel is fine. It's interesting to see a shift in more games from the rest of the world showing up. There was a time when it was pretty German dominated. Deluxe games are not needed. In fact, I would argue some games do need a redo version. However, that doesn't mean that it isn't worth the companies going nuts if people buy it. Oath Sworn is a great example. But then he says, now I want a deluxe version of Dead of Winter with minis. And then he wraps up with keep it up, homies. So with that, Brian, thank you for your support. I know you've commented on quite a few videos.
We're going to have to stop reading his comments if he continues to agree with Shay.
Because a Shay can't be right.
Hashtag Team
Where's my
Dion. I
camera?
don't know.
Where is it?
Hey, we already
Okay,
fixed that. That's
okay.
we fixed it. Never mind.
Just so everybody knows, we also had to highlight to Shay which camera was on him. So
Which that was part of my fall on the sword. You just stole it from me, so we had to
forget it. Forget
Never mind.
Yeah, just delete that out.
Great. Way to
Delete
just
that.
take my
I'm sorry.
thunder.
I'm sorry.
A little thunder I
just
had.
No, we'll come back to it. Michael Gala 761 says Deluxe is amazing for some games, and it is a waste in others. I like the whole experience of board games. Something like Return to Dark Tower, which is a good game, but its deluxeification makes it a great game. Meanwhile, Quacks doesn't need a deluxe, and I would actually agree with that in some respects. Return to Dark Tower was a fantastic game. I mean, it's an old game, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
brought
like
Restoration
90s.
Games
Yeah.
brought that back, but I will say the minis were really nice, and just that the deluxeification makes it feel better. But I would disagree. Quacks actually, with the acrylic tokens from Board Game Geek, actually make it significantly better, in my opinion, because reaching into a bag and feeling cardboard, but you get those acrylic tokens in there, and it actually massively increases, in my opinion, the experience. So I actually would disagree with him on that.
Well, I think Quacks has a really good replay value to it. Quacks of Queldingburg, right? And I think it has a very big, because it's got a front and then a backside, and then there's a bunch of. So I agree with you on that. I think deluxifying that would be better, because you're constantly reaching in and grabbing them, and after a while, anything you play gets reused, which then comes up with an argument: do you buy another copy to support the designer? But we'll get into that another episode. But
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the last comment I have to highlight, of course, is from Mr. Blocks 8, who says, hey, Dad, read my comment. That's my son.
Oh,
Yep.
So
I didn't think Victor was old enough to type
no,
yet.
not yet, not yet.
I was like, oh, what's he
So-
doing online already?
So Mr. Blocks 8, there you go. Your comment was read, and Dad did not let you down.
There you go.
It's funny,
Look
all
at
the
that.
things that I've accomplished in my life. There's some things I'm pretty proud of. Nothing has made my kids more excited than seeing me on YouTube.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
How little that is.
That's amazing for you.
Yeah, all the things I've done. I'm like, ooh, I'm proud of this, guys. And they're like,
My kids, when I was doing TikTok a lot for the store, my kids were like, ooh, it's Dad, because, it would come up in my wife's feed because she would like all my stuff. Yeah, I've got a fan. Anyway, it has not even blinked an eye at me, on not even cared to watch me on YouTube or anything. I do get people that come in the store, though, and they go, oh, that's you up there. And I'm like, yeah, we look alike. So, and then
got
I
a face
pitched
for
the whole-
radio,
I got a face
Dion.
for radio. I do have a face for radio. That's why we're on Spotify, because I have a face for radio. I definitely don't have
We're
it for
on
YouTube.
Spotify, and we're on Audible. I had my wife
iHeartRadio
and iHeartRadio.
Yeah, all we're everywhere.
My wife actually subscribed on Audible.
Really?
Did she?
Yes.
Nice.
I was so excited. And she's going to look at it. Anyway, what were we talking about? Love you.
So, of course, again, if you want your comment highlighted, please make sure that in the comment section you make sure that you share something pleasant, and any way that you can make fun of Dion, we are going to enjoy.
Wow.
I mean, you can make fun of all of us. Spread the love.
Yes, I like Shay.
We'll go
Thank
back
you,
to
Shay.
that.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that, buddy.
Got you.
So, with that, let's move on to everybody's favorite segment. Good time for Fall on the Sword. Where we get to highlight some issues, comments, thoughts that we had from the previous episode. And so I will fall on the sword first this week.
Okay.
Okay. You deserve to.
I last video called Shay out in the heat of the moment. We busted out taco, cat, goat, cheese pizza. Now, being a champion, part of being a champion is recognizing when somebody has defeated you, even though there's an asterisk, even though it's still highly contested because you were still far closer to the pile than I was. Video evidence proves that. I watched it over. But I'm willing to say that for this week, Shay, I'm giving you the championship belt to take this as the champion of Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza until the day, my son, when I can actually challenge you to a full game that we will, comment if you'd like to see this. Shay and I go head to head in a highly contested match of Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza where everything is perfectly measured out.
So, can I go next for my fallen sword? Okay. We're going to put this back because, I appreciate it. But
John would be upset if you.
right,
Yeah, I don't think, John, you should be holding John's title right now. So.
But that's only because I was playing Alien.
Good.
Anyway, because I was going to come with it. We're talking about, where's my camera here? We're talking about Friday Night SmackDowns we did, and they did a good Friday Night SmackDown, and I was actually going to dress up for it, and I was running Alien at the exact same time, so I couldn't play. That's usually what happened. I wasn't here for Heat either. I had to do something for Heat, and I would have anyway. But that is not where I'm following my sword, and we got to be somber with this because I want to make sure I bring a place of, like, genuine care and just love. And the domination I did on last video do not hit my values. And so I want to say sorry to the people who didn't want to see that from me. And I'm also sorry
to me for having to watch that.
Sorry for him to having to watch that humiliation. I can't even say the word right because I feel bad. And I'm also sorry that Spotify couldn't listen to what happened. So I will just go play by play. So he brought out the book. He brought out the box. He threw it in, and he was like, "Shay, go!" And so on the table, what we did was we played Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. That's why we kept saying Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. And when you heard that, that was my hand winning. So just make sure we would clarify the humiliation that happened. I'm so sorry. I never should do that.
Which brings me to my fall on the sword. First thing I did was we made sure we wrote, which people hopefully will run some B-roll of it, but we actually wrote where Shay's camera is so he could stop going, "Where's my camera? Where's my camera?"
He's still saying it.
He's still saying it. But we actually wrote an arrow to show him where his camera is. That was the first thing. The second thing is I brought with me today Gorilla Super Glue. And I brought this here for both of you to glue your asses to the seat so you stop getting up. Last episode, you jumped up. The episode before, he jumped up. I'm sitting here calmly. We're going to use this today. Everybody good? Okay, good.
I'm a hope. It's just
First, he chucks it on the ground. Now it splatters all over the ground.
That's right. Well, I'm
step over
putting
there.
it on both of your seats next episode to make sure none of you get up.
You know how badly I want to get up now?
Yeah.
I know it.
But I'm not going to.
We'll get you out of your chair.
Super glue, buddy. Super glue.
Don't worry. We'll get you out of the chair.
I'm pretty wedged in back here, so.
You know who doesn't ever have to worry about getting out of the chair?
What?
AI bot.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah, he's
I have no legs.
This is true.
never has to
But
worry
you know
about
what he
getting out of
has?
the chair.
Big old heart.
Do we order
did-
extra for a heart?
I did subscribe to the heart.
iBot 2.0, now with 42% more heart.
Oh,
Yeah,
we need to
I
get
was
us up to
really
the
excited about
46
that.
though.
well, that's
Because
We
sometimes,
love
like
you, AI art.
when I'm really alone at night, I'll just call AI bot up and I'll just be like, "Hey, AI bot."
weird.
No, it's not.
Please stop calling.
See, total weird.
I just sometimes need some affection. So, all right. With that said, that's a good time to switch gears here and head to industry news. So, gentlemen, it's time to put the pinkies out as we sip some industry tea and discuss some of the things going on with the board game industry. And we do have a couple things. I'm a little fired up about the industry news. They hit home a little bit. As somebody who works in the financial sector, I'm always a little more sensitive when it comes to things that I think hurt consumers, that take money from people, especially in this day and age where we are dealing with things like inflation. I just don't like to see things like this happen to people. So let's start off with the first one, which is going to be Devil Pig Games. I don't know if anybody out there has heard much about this. Devil Pig Games is a little bit larger of a publisher in the industry. They've got about 128 different SKUs to their name. A lot of them are expansions to a few core games, but some of their bigger ones are Heroes of Normandy that they released in 2014, Warhammer 40K, Heroes of Black Reach from 2018, which I actually have, Carnage 2016, Age of Towers in 2018, and Frontiers Liberty or Death, which they made in 2007. So I'm saying those dates because I want to highlight the fact that this is not a new company. This is an established brand that's been around for a very long time. So that's kind of what makes this a little bit of an issue, and we'll get to that in a minute. So to kind of set the timeline for everybody of what's going on, most recently on March 24th of this year, 2023, they funded a new project on Kickstarter called the Heroes of the Pacific, which is kind of a spinoff of Heroes of Normandy. Great. People love war games. I'm sure you're seeing that, Dion.
Sure.
And in fact, their first update that they had on March 24th, and again, I want to say that, March 24th, they posted this. We funded. First update, follow me. Very excited, which why wouldn't you be? You had a successful Kickstarter, right? But second update, they've been updating pretty much monthly, which would lead most backers to think, hey, this is a good investment. I'm going to get my product. I'm excited to play the game. Then the last update was in September. It said pledge manager and late pledge still live. And I want to highlight that because what it means is that they are still taking money. They're still allowing people to back this game. Mm-hmm. And the perception is you will get a product for this. Now, here's why, gentlemen, that's a really big deal. Now, I gave this to AI Bot, so hopefully he'll be able to get this on the screen for you so you can see it. But the big thing that upsets me the most is March 7th of this year. So we're going back before this was a completed Kickstarter, before all the monthly updates, and before this last update. They filed for insolvency on March 7th of this year.
Wow.
If you go to their website now, which there's an image that we do have of that, the Devil Pigs game website now just takes you to basically, hey, we're under tough financial times. We're no longer active. And so it leads me to so many questions and such frustration. So Shay, I want to start with you as a developer because I think that this is something I think really poisons the well for smaller companies who want to use Kickstarter as a way to get out there. When you have games like, Devil Pig Games coming out using Kickstarter and actively allowing people to still commit to a game when they have been insolvent going back to before they even funded this Kickstarter. So how, and I don't want to use this lightly because I'm sure there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, but as a consumer, this feels like fraud. As a consumer, to me, this puts such a huge black eye on crowdfunding because how can I trust them? Unless you did the research, you would have no way of knowing that this company basically financially is bankrupt and doesn't exist like they no longer, in France, they filed the papers to no longer be a company, but they're still taking money and giving the perception that this game is still coming. So as a developer, what are your thoughts on that? Because it feels to me as a consumer, this hurts my interest in continuing to back, because if I can't trust the bigger companies, how can I ever trust the little developers?
So, this really makes me mad in a couple of ways. So as a developer, there's a community that we have to build. And to build a community, there has to be a trust within it. We want these things to be a safe space, whether we're talking about diversity, where we're talking about being transparent. So that loses it horribly. How can you be basically bankrupt and then you still telling people to buy your stuff? And then you're not really saying it. Like you don't put it in your Kickstarter or any of the information you're giving out.
Yeah, there's been no transparency at all about this.
I think that how I see it for me and for like indie RPGers and indie game designers, period, it makes it harder because this will get news. This and then people usually when something like this happens, if it does, news comes up or people in the industry start talking, and then we'll go to the conversation of how Kickstarter is so bad and how crowdfunding is so bad and how you shouldn't do it because of another reason why you shouldn't do it. And that hurts people who are like me, who are just trying to be able to put out a vision, a dream that they have. And so like things like this gives other people ways to say, oh, this is why we should ban this. And to be personal, transparent, I'm just somebody who wants to give y'all a good game. That's all I want to do.
You know, and Dion, that leads into the transparency issue because, you know, as somebody who has a business in the board game space, you know, and granted, obviously you're on the retail side, so, you know, this adds another feather in the cap of, hey, buy from retail instead of crowdfunding. But
yeah, but I hate it to be done that way, though.
Well,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to be like, yeah, screw you guys. You should have voted. I trust me. I want to be that way, but I also hate it that it has to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be that because I don't want other people to. Nobody in the board game industry I want to feel that pain, right? Of assuming you're getting something and then putting money out. My assumption on Kickstarter was it was always, or anything, Kickstarter, any kind of backing that you do crowdfunding, there's a risk. This is one of those risks. I hate that it happened with a big game like Devil Pig, you know, big company like that.
But is it a risk though when you're fraudulently saying back, give us, hey,
well, it's still a risk no matter what. I mean, you don't know what they're.
But shouldn't they have to?
And I'm not trying to defend Devil Pig at all. To me, it completely optics look the same as you're seeing them, right? For me, just for the little bit of research I've done, it looks exactly how you're seeing it. And is another, like you said, feather in the cap of don't back this, don't do that. I always feel, and I think I said it before on the podcast, that bigger companies should not be using Kickstarter. They're trying to say, oh, it's for marketing, whatever. You're trying to bypass all of the everything else and sell your little whatever it is. Do it retail, create a community, do it the right way. And there are more stores like me popping up that want to build communities. So there's right ways to do things, and there's, I feel, wrong ways for bigger companies that don't really need to do it that way.
Yeah.
But that's a different, again, I talked to that on already. This issue here, from my understanding, is Kickstarter has always been a risk no matter what. You put your money in and you're risking, just like if you buy on anywhere online, eBay, Amazon. I mean, Amazon's less of a risk, but eBay, you know, those places, that's a risk. You are putting money out and you're hoping that whatever they're sending you is in a bag of clothes. It's actually the board game of what you're looking for.
Another big place.
Yeah, another place. I mean, anytime that you're purchasing anything online nowadays, you're taking a risk. You know, we just bought a product online and it came in damaged, you know, through one of those third-party TCG type of places. And that's just a risk we took. And we're going through the proper channels, but I mean, it's a risk, right? If it was one of my distributors that I bought the product from, I could have been like, hey, replace this. I'm not paying you for this. And they'd have been like, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Send it back, you know? So, I mean, that's one of the things, same thing with me. I mean, if you buy a game here, and I've had this happen a few times where the pieces are damaged and they always say, oh, tell your people to contact me directly. I always contact the company myself. I always try to replace it. If I have a copy here, I will deal with the broken pieces. I will deal with whatever's missing out of the game. I've done that a couple times for a lot of people here because that's just good customer service, right? And you have that reliability where you could be at my doorstep in the morning when I open going, hey, this is broken. I'm not happy. Right. Or you're leaving, you're making that purchase. It's just less of a risk, right? Yeah. But you're going to get more of that the more you purchase online. And I hate that it happened. I really honestly do. I hate that there's companies out there that are somewhat shady in a certain way, but we don't know what happened in the back of the. I know running a business is extremely more difficult than I thought it would.
Right.
I've ran multiple businesses in the past that were business to business, were a lot easier than retail or direct to consumer. A lot easier. And this has been one of the hardest challenge I've had to take personally in the last 2 years, because you're reliant on Shay coming in on a Friday to buy a game. What if Shay doesn't want to come in on Friday? That hurts, right? I mean, that's your bottom line. That's your numbers. So I don't know on the back end what happened, whether they misjudged, whether they, you don't know. I mean, until the whole story comes out in court or wherever it's coming out in, you really don't know their side of this argument. I do know from the optics on the outside looks really bad.
Yeah. Now, I guess the big thing for me coming from the securities world and the financial side is that you bring up the word risk, and risk always exists. But at least in the world that I live in during the day, you have to present that risk, because if you know it exists and you purposefully hide that risk because you don't want that knowledge to get out, you can be sued. And so my issue is that if you have filed for insolvency on March 7th of this year, and then you close a Kickstarter on March 24th, and you've had from March to October to at least identify, hey guys, we just want to make you aware, here's what's going on with our company. We're having financial issues. We have to file insolvency.
Maybe they were going to try to pull themselves out. You don't know their side of it, but I understand that.
But I still think you have to.
But that's the difference between you being doing your job correctly, right? That's the difference between you being successful at what you do and somebody who maybe isn't as successful as you, that doesn't give those risks out front. Right. Oh no, this is a great place. I don't know what you do for a living, but I'm saying exactly what you do. I understand the overall, but invest in this stock, and that doesn't realize that, hey, it's going to tank or not tank, or I have information that it might tank, but there's a 10% chance it might not. So I'm trying to get you to invest because I make better commissions on that, or whatever it may be. I don't know, but there are people in your industry, I'm not just off the top of my brain, and this is a far fetch, but like Bernie Madoff, who took a lot of people's money. Right.
And where did he end up?
Well, I'm just saying in prison, but it also there's still ways to skirt the law. And when you go to a site like Kickstarter, I've always been under the assumption, and maybe I've read their terms and service incorrectly, but when you invest or when you back them, when it clears, they can take your money and do whatever the hell they want. They can go hookers and blow, and then you're going, hey, where's my money? And they go, hey, we'll get your game if we can ever get it for you, right? I mean, that's what I always understood. And those are horror stories that we heard in the video game industry. When Kickstarter first started out, there was a few companies, small studios, that did that exact same thing. And I used those analogies, but that's exactly what they did. And when they were interviewed, they said, well, we blew it in Vegas. You blew all the Kickstarter money in Vegas? Well, yeah. Because there's nothing kind of repercussions. People just give them money with things like that, with things like, what is that one thing you go to and you can back, like I can create one now and have
NFTs?
Everybody, huh?
I'll say there's NFTs, there's big.
No, like I can create like a need. Dion just had a baby fund, and you guys can go give me money and go fund me. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, go fund me.
And it's the same thing. When you give them money, you've got to consider that being gone, even though there's an agreement there. It's not like a retail agreement. It's not Amazon. It's not Walmart. It's not even eBay. eBay has a decent agreement to where you have to supply them that product that you purchased. And there's scammers on there, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's been a huge reading, especially lately in the TCG market with Lorcana being as huge as it is. There's a huge scamming market out there. But it's sad to hear this. I don't know, and I'm not defending them at all, one bit. I'm just saying I don't know their side, being in business, their side of their story, and how they found themselves in this position. I hate it, the fact, like Shay said over here, well, it hurts us, and it hurts the board game community in whole.
Shay, you were going to say something?
It was.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, it was all about like, yeah, because I know when you look at Kickstarter, there is that bold statement. Like I can see it right now about how this is always a risk.
They do have it in there, right?
I remember that bold statement, and I don't think. Okay, let's see how to word this right. I believe that we all know about the risk, but a lot of us has built the fact that we are going to try our best and we're going to be transparent and make you known along the lines of what's happening. Like I follow this. I have a Kickstarter, okay? and it's for this RPG. It's like this cyberpunkish suburban magic thing. It was something exciting because it's something like my wife was like, "Oh, I actually think I might play this," so I'm excited. And that Kickstarter happened at 2019, and I still haven't got the book. Now, if they didn't give me information, and they were just saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get the book, and yeah, we're gonna have it. Hey, get some more dollars," and it was something like, I know, like 2020 hit, and this was like a couple wanted to come up with this great game. And so they let us know, and like we let us know about like personal problems that's been happening, and they were transparent.
Yeah, and then that's the difference between good Kickstarters and non, though, right? I mean,
and that is where this kind of irks me, is because like you have this bigger company, the companies that like a lot of people that is in the board game community who are designers be like, you shouldn't really do Kickstarter. You should go find a big company, go to them. They know what they're doing. They'll put some odd money into. You get it.
Mm-hmm.
What if that was my title? I gave my commissions, my contract they have my game, and then they did that. That don't ever look bad at the company, looks bad at the person who made it, and then they're hurting. And then,
well, that could have been it too. I mean, they're a France company, correct? Mm-hmm. So I mean, we don't have the full story, other than what we're being reported to. Right. Mm-hmm. We don't have the full story of like maybe the person that ran their United States was like, "Give me all the money," and they never had that transparency with them, so they never had it with us, right? So I mean, there's a gap somewhere along the way. If they, which probably will be a legal situation, but if they go into legalities and someone can prove that they knew this whole time that they were going to go under and still taking money, absolutely they should find themselves in some sort of.
My big thing is that it's public knowledge on proper channels in the French system through papers. And again, that was sent to AI bot, so hopefully he can post that. But it's public information showing their filing of insolvency and bankruptcy. So, I mean, this is not hearsay. This is public information that was filed on March 7th of this year. Mm-hmm. And that just, to me, is the thing that irks me of, even if it happens and you're trying to just keep it afloat in a secondhand way,
make a comment about it. I agree with that.
I get it. It happens in business. It's just my issue is you're not even acknowledging that it happened. And then your site just goes down when all these people are still being told, hey, unless you go directly to their website, you won't know that their website doesn't exist anymore, that they've taken it down. That's my issue. That should have to be reported. And I think that falls on Kickstarter to have to say, look, there has to be some level of overwatch to this to just protect consumers in some way. Because again, if we can just go on there and lie and say, hey, we're going to make this game full well, and then we have no intentions to ever make the game.
Well, I feel
like that should be illegal.
Well, and with Kickstarter, they should go to these bigger companies and say, what's your net worth? You don't need us to start your game, Simon. I'm talking to you, Simon. Now I need to find a camera. I'm talking to you, Simon.
Hey, can we do something about this next episode?
I know you need to mark my camera now. I'm talking to you, Simon. I'm talking to you, some of these bigger companies that don't need Kickstarter to make their product successful in the market. Yeah. Right? And so Kickstarter should go, hey, what's your net worth? We're not going to, this is what it is. It's a crowdfunding. It's a risk. I would feel better, and this is horrible. I would feel better if someone like Shay took my money and did something with it, paid his house payment, I don't know, paid his rent, whatever it is, and instead of a big company like Devil Pig Games, who has released multiple copies of games and should be at some point responsible for, I don't want to say certain words to put us in a certain spot, but be responsible for what the shenanigans they just pulled, the transparency that they should have had. I agree.
Exactly.
So
let's move on to more questionable information in the crowdfunding space from a European company that is a very large company. It's almost like a repeat story in a way, honestly. So let's go on to our good friends at Mythic Games, which this is going to be hard for me not to get fired up with. So for this particular part of industry news highlights, we're going to talk about Darkest Dungeon, which I'm sure most people who are in the space enjoy the hobby. You've heard some stuff about this, but just to kind of recap what's going on for Darkest Dungeon, it raised $5.6 million.
Wow.
When they did a crowdfunding.
Wow.
They had over 28,000 supporters and backers of this. So when we talk about this, we're talking about Mythic Games. It's had some very big games. One of my favorites was Super Fantasy Brawl. Absolutely love that game. Some of the best minis in the industry. And then they raised $5.5 million. So this is not we barely made it. This is a boom, we made it. They threw it on the table. So back in the summer of 2022, they had to subsidize more than $1.2 million of unexpected costs associated with shipping. Of course, COVID issues dramatically, nobody's going to argue this. COVID dramatically raised shipping costs tenfold on everybody. We get it. We understand. So at the time, they asked backers from anywhere from $18 to $70 more to ensure that they got their product to cover all of the, basically the shell game, if you want to call it, moving money from here to here. 80% of backers decided to pay to get game Wave 1. And here's the thing, here's the asterisk. They were told they were also expecting projects in Wave 2, which were several more expansions, add-ons, and a full range of localization of the game into 6 different languages. But if they paid it, they wouldn't have to pay anything more going forward. So again, we're telling you, you do this now, you don't have to worry about it for Wave 2. Don't worry, we've got you. So you're telling me this. Now, fast forward to 2023, they're going back on their word, of which they told you don't worry, and now they're asking for $13 more for each expansion you ordered, and there's I think 7 or 8 expansions to this. So not only do you have to pay $13 more for each expansion you ordered for Wave 2, but you must pay an additional extra anywhere from $29 to $122 for shipping on top of the original pledges to receive your product.
You know what's sad is that you have 10,000 companies that delivered on time what they said they were going to do when they said they were going to do it, and it only takes 1 or 2 of these guys to destroy that record, right?
Exactly. So now let's be fair here. Mythic Games, in an effort to save their business, they sold several of their big IPs off, including Super Fantasy Brawl. They've cut their staff by 60%, according to the co-founder Leonidas Versepian. And of course, they're blaming COVID, and now this one I don't understand, but the Ukrainian war, don't really get that, and then inflation, which is
where are they
a real
based out
issue.
of? Europe, right?
Yeah, I think they're Western Europe, but
Okay.
but the moral of the story is, now I'm going to speak as somebody who backed Rainbow Six Siege and Monster Apocalypse, were 2 other Kickstarters that were run for Mythic Games. I'm one of those people who fully backed it. I'm a big fan of the board game, or the video game, Rainbow Six Siege. Game got great reviews by a lot of people online. And so I decided to go in. I can tell you from Rainbow Six's perspective, it was dark for a long period of time. All of this was happening with Darkest Dungeon. Didn't know how it was going to impact me. Well, then I found out that basically I had to pay 50% of my initial pledge. And if I didn't do that, I wasn't going to get my game, period, end of sentence. The only way to get a shot to get it was if I did this. Now, the thing that upset me was they said they had an internal goal where enough backers had to commit to it to make this happen. The problem I have with that is the logic of, okay, so let's just say, let's make up math. We need an extra $1 million to make this happen. So we need 50% of you to do this. Okay, so let's say 80% of us do it. And now they've raised $2 million. You only needed $1 million to pull this off. You just pocketed an extra $1 million beyond what you needed to make this happen. You're asking for more money to make this happen. So you should have said, hey, when we get to this threshold, this is what's going to make it happen. We won't take any more dollars. But they didn't do that. They said, we're going to just take as much as we can get, pocket everything as extra profit on top of what we need, because I've already paid for the game. And what irked me the most was I paid for shipping twice. Well, guess what? What did you do with my shipping on the first game? Where did that go? Why should I pay shipping twice? That's where I have a problem. And from COVID days to today, the pricing has significantly dropped
For shipping,
board
yeah.
game companies. So you can't even use that argument for me other than you just misused my money. Monster Ocalypse, which should have been the easiest thing because they literally took an existing IP and they were basically just repackaging it. There's no excuse for that one not to have gone out, but I've got a serious backing with that. Mr. Blocks 8 for you out there. Really excited to play that with him. I don't know that I'm ever going to get that game. And so this one really agitates me. Again, back to, if you do this, you won't have to deal with this consequence.
Sounds like a running theme right now that you shouldn't be backing Kickstarters and buying at your local game store. But that's just my personal opinion. Again, not saying, haha, take that, because I hate that they've done that to you. And I hate that that's the way that they prefer to do business, which brings Mythic up to question, again, what's going on behind closed doors, right?
So how does, I guess here's the bigger evolving question around this, and open up for you two, but how does this impact the hobby? Because if so much of the hobby spaces has been shifting towards crowdfunding.
It has, a lot of it.
How does this impact the hobby when now people start losing faith in this, and this is how you're telling us to consume board games?
Well, I don't think anybody was telling you that's how you consume board games. I think a lot of it is a look what I have mentality, right? When you bring in that big box or you bring in whatever, that's, oh, I can get this and this little piece and that, and like a deluxification like we talked last week. A lot of that is the, ooh, look at my new cool shiny thing that is better than your shiny thing that you just bought at the normal store, right? And I paid X dollars for it. So I don't think anybody was telling you to consume your board games that way. Maybe some YouTube channels that we can talk about here in the next spit, but I think you took it at a different direction, or maybe you thought it, because a lot of people did that. And I understand during COVID, a lot of people invested that way, and that's fine because a lot of stores were closed and all that great, wonderful stuff. But that isn't your only avenue. If you don't have a friendly local game store around, you can always find one online to work with that will give you good support. There's a bunch of them out there that would love your kickstarting dollars to help you get where you need to be. But you fell in love with, ooh, Rainbow Six Siege, and ooh, they're doing this game, and ooh, I'm going to back this because I want to play the game that's based on this game that I really liked. So I'm not saying that you deserve to be taken advantage of. That's not what I'm saying here. I did read last week, kind of on top of this, that they did release a whole, like, we're struggling with this and this is what we're struggling with. But, ooh, look, we just sent all these away to get printed. How long ago did you do your investment? How long ago was that? Was it before COVID?
I'd have to look it up. I want to say maybe 2021. So this
Wow.
is after
In 2023, they're like, here, we finally printed minis for this game.
Right.
That is extremely scary. And it's, again, I'm not saying, haha, take that, because I feel horrible for the community that has to deal with this as an overall, because I'm a board gamer and I love board games. I want more people involved with board games, and however you get your board game, I honestly don't care in the long run. I want you to be happy and play games. That's what the goal is. So it does bother me bad that there's companies out there that could take advantage of the situation, especially since they know that this is going on. And like I just said a few minutes ago, that sucks that 100,000 or 10,000, whatever it is, number you want to throw out, did exactly what they promised to do, right? And has a record of proving that, they can do this as a business model. Right. And then you have a couple that decent sized gaming companies totally mess this up. And a lot of it's from the top down. And unfortunately, you can't interview who you're backing. It's a bad investment. You being an investment should know it's just a bad investment. It was a horrible investment. It was a horrible place to put your money. And people can have that option or not, I guess. So that's all I have to say. That's all I got to say about that.
I really don't I think this is add on to what I said before. Like, it's not, it just kind of, it frustrates me. So, you know, that's
I agree.
That's really,
does any of this kind of stuff, as it piles up, Shay, would any of this change your outlook as you're in development stage and let's just say you get to final production stage and now it's time to hit consumers? Does any of this impact your mindset of how you want to reach the market?
So this is how it is. I still believe I want to go through a crowdfunding. this makes it harder for me to do that. But if somebody took one of my games, Radio Killer, right? Cool little game that has this great little murder because I like the horror. And a company can just buy it, rip everything apart from it, use like 2 things from it, and make it into this new thing because I don't have as much. In fact, I will only have, and from people saying it's not that much of control after a company gets it. Like there's games that I can be okay with that if I make it. Haven't found one yet because the 3 games I like is my babies, and that's my thing. But it's hard for me to be like, yeah, I'm gonna give it to a publisher. The only way I can do this is either being a full-fledged publishing company, which is a whole different thing, or being a smaller company, which I am, and we'll produce a game or 2. Just so it's like it sucks. It's just that's all I can really say. It's frustrating and it sucks. Yeah.
And Shay doesn't like it because we've got a really somber Shay tonight.
We did. You get him sad. He's looked like he just had a baby. He's tired.
I feel like we need to like give him a hug, like just to cheer him up. I gave him a bell earlier.
You have to stay in your seat. Remember that.
We gotta stay in our seat.
I will break out the
I tilted
super
and I felt
glue.
a little wetness.
That's
down
what
there.
it was.
That was the glue.
That's
going
exactly
on.
what it
I'm
was.
stuck. I'll be here all night. So I think that raises some really good questions that I think this industry really has to figure out, because I think this could cause some serious ripple effects and butterfly effects, honestly, for how the future of consumption happens. And honestly, I'm one of those people who misses Toys R Us.
I do too.
I do too.
So I'm a big box store. I want to walk in. I want to see the things. That's why I came to Voss Media in the first place. Was I love walking into a board game store and just seeing everything there and just being able to touch it and get an experience with it, which to me is just, maybe it's because I'm an old boomer. Or
Are you a boomer? I don't think you're a boomer.
I don't think you're a boomer.
You got to be really old to be a boomer.
I think-
I don't think I'm a boomer, and that's really old. So
I think you're Generation X.
I don't know.
millennial.
I guess after
First year
Generation Z,
millennial.
they're not doing anymore, so we're done now. So
I don't know.
yeah. Anyway,
We're old. Moral of the story. So anyway, so I think that'll raise some questions though, and I honestly I would love to see him come back to places like Voss, because I think it creates an environment which I think is something we need now more than ever.
I would too, but I also don't want to see it done this way.
Oh, I agree.
Right? Like I'm a huge supporter of support your friendly local game store, everyone. But I don't want it done this way.
Right.
Right. Like this is the wrong way to do it. That's why I said part of me is fighting that battle internally. Because I'm like, I told you, but I also hate to see it done this way. Right.
Right.
Like there's a better way to do it, and there's a better way to promote it. I wish companies, especially bigger companies, would go back to trying to build communities. I just really wish they would. And the best way to do that is at your friendly local game store. Places like Van Ryder, who we can work together with at Voss Media, where we're opening all their games. Like those type of relationships are extremely important. And then I think by bypassing that, by going to Kickstarter and direct, you're hurting that relationship.
Speaking of building communities, do you know who else needs to build communities? YouTube content creators, just like us.
That is true.
That's true.
I'm not going to argue
Don't
that.
forget to hit like and subscribe. Leave those comments below. But that actually brings up the second big headline news in our industry is the FTC. So now we are getting into some serious government regulation here. But they recently warned board game content creators.
Is that us?
Well,
Yep.
asterisks, yes.
Not asterisks. We are working content creators.
It's true. It's true. My son saw me on the TV, so we're
You're
legit.
you're a big deal now.
Mrs. Box 8.
So,
We're gonna get him going. But so they've warned content creators and publishers over failing to properly disclose relationships, including things like money, compensation, and even free games. So this actually, I think, brings up a very interesting conversation. In fact, there was a board game channel that I really enjoy who did a wonderful video on this, talking about the complexities of the relationship between content creators and board game companies. There isn't a lot of money in the board game YouTube space. You know, it's just, sorry guys, I hate to tell
That's
you.
the only reason I'm here.
I
That's
duped
it.
you. You do it for the love of the game.
Yes. Love of the community.
And the reality is that, especially as you get bigger and bigger, which we will if you hit the like, as you get bigger and bigger, the only way to survive is with sponsorship deals. And so it gets into the complexities of, okay, well, one, you need to be very transparent, which I totally agree with. I think there should be a level of, again, honesty that has to be there. It's okay to get supported. I think it's great to get paid for your work. I think it's great to have those sponsorships. I think that's wonderful. I love that people can make this their full-time job and flourish. Just tell me the truth. Just be honest and say, hey, we got this for free. We got that for free. I don't have a problem with that. But I think where it really goes with this is it goes into the bigger conversation for these content creators is, how do you survive in this space with these partnerships when, let's just say I play this game and I don't like it and I give it a bad review, and now that board game company comes back and says, well, forget them. They gave us a bad deal. We paid for a bad review. And again, from the business side, I don't blame them for not wanting to work with that content creator again. So it creates a lot of strife. So I think this is a really interesting topic as we're a growing channel ourselves.
Yeah, I don't, and you want, first of all, I can be hated for it or not. You're going to get my full opinion.
Probably.
You're going to get my opinion on a game, whether I like it or not. And the thing within the industry is we get a lot of people going, well, don't beat up on that game or don't pick on that game. Everybody has their own. And that's great. I understand that. But I also understand that it's my opinion, right? Whether I like a game or don't like a game. Again, it goes back to transparency, where you would need to inform them, hey, you sent me this game and you paid me to do it. It's kind of a crappy game, and this is why. Here's the reasons I don't like it. And I could talk about that, and I could talk about the positives and the negatives. There's ways to present things. Yeah. I run a board game store. If you come in and ask me, what do you think about this game? I'll be honest with you. I don't like party games. I never have. If you come in and ask me about a party game, there's maybe one that I'll pick off the shelf and go, I would play this.
Well, now we know who the guy in the corner is that nobody's having fun with.
That's me. I'm all by myself. I want to play games all by, and I'm very open and honest about that.
Right.
But I'm also open in saying, hey, a great person to talk to this game about is Shay. Shay loves party games, right? And this is, if you also like party games and you're not like me, there are other opinions in the building or in with, it on YouTube. There are other opinions you will find, but that does clear up a lot of the problems that I've been having with board game content. One of the reasons why I wanted to be a part of this channel, as well as support Voss Media, and also give my opinion on games, because a lot of them feel like they are being paid. Because I've played a lot of the so-called hyped games, and I'm using air quotes for the people on Spotify, hot games, and they weren't hot games. They were and you go, okay, really? This is what all this hype is about? I don't feel it. I don't see it. I don't understand it. And maybe it just didn't hit with me. But there's a lot of them recently that I feel that way with. So I do appreciate the people, and you know who you are, that I watch that will say, oh, just be straight heads up. They did give this game to me, and then they'll explain how to play it, and they'll hold their personal opinions back on a lot of stuff and I guess that's almost the same to me as lying, I guess, or not lying, not giving me the full picture of it. I want to know. The reason why I like watching your channel is I want to know what you think about it, because I watch a lot of, and I don't want to shout out channels, but I watch a lot of those channels, and I go, oh, I really like this guy. I really like what he likes. We see a lot alike. And then if he recommends something, I'm looking into it, right? So I want him to be 100% honest with me. I don't want him to be paid and not tell me, hey, I was paid to tell you this game is awesome when it's not really that awesome, which, again, like you said, creates that hard business relationship. But I think if you're honest with the people, I want to be very honest up front. Van Ryder and Trick or Treat Studios, they didn't pay us anything. They donated games to Voss Media Board Game Cafe, and as a partner with me for the month, to get their games open and played and enjoyed. And I love that relationship that we have with those guys. I didn't ask for any money out of them. I didn't ask for a sponsorship of any kind. I just want more games to bring to the community. That's why they're partnered with us, which then in turns partners with our channel, because they they want their games talked about. Well, we're going to talk about your games, and I'm going to tell you the honest truth, whether I like it or hate it or whatever. But I'm probably not going to pick games that I hate from them, right? Because I don't want to ruin that relationship,
Right.
right?
Of course, Shay has no games he hates from them. So.
Well, I don't. Well, I'm just saying from anyone that we partner with moving forward, and it is a hard behind doors type of situation, but I guess again transparency on those, and I think that more transparency is very important. If you were paid to do pretty well to do a demo of Heat, and you were talking about how great Heat was, but you didn't give me the full understanding of why it was so great and everything, and I'm going, oh, Heat's really hyped up. I think I'll like the game, and I play it, and I go, I didn't really like it. That's not fair. It's not fair to everybody out there that follows you, that likes you, that subscribes to you. I don't think that's a fair relationship with, again, I feel it's as misleading as the previous news.
Shay.
So, as a content creator, yeah, transparent. Like the whole thing is transparency, people. That's it. We got to be transparent. Now, I do know a lot of my TikTok friends, they're very transparent. In fact, TikTok makes you have to put like, is this a sponsored video? Then you see it right there. And so for me, this was more of a little bit of a shock because like the group of people I've seen, they were saying, oh, they're paid content. Like this is paid content. I got sponsored. They say it. They have
There's a banner on there.
There's a banner on there too. Exactly. And people hate on TikTok. Anyway, that's a different conversation. But with that said, yeah, you just need to be transparent. Like you need to transparent because there's a game that I'm not going to say the game, but the game, and because the game is actually pretty good. I played it. It's fun. My niece and nephew liked it. Cool. But I was hammered, like spoon-fed this game in every ad, in every place, in everything, and everybody's saying that's good. I can think of the content creator who first did it, and they just blast off his thing. They never said that they got paid for it. They never said it. Now I can imagine they did, but it's just
Well, I think that's why the FTC is doing it. Because,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Because they need to know who is and who isn't, and nobody's really doing it. So
And I like that it even comes down to a free game too, because especially as smaller channels, I think it's easy to approach a smaller channel and say, hey, we'll give you one free copy of a game. And when you're new to that,
I'm sold.
Yeah, especially when you're new to content creation, like anytime you just get recognized due to likes and subscriptions, it just makes your world spin a little bit faster and a little bit better. And so to me, I think it's easy to sway people very quickly and very easily, especially when they're a small channel. So I think anytime there's a level of corroboration between the company and the content creator, it has to be notified. So I guess what you all hear from us right now is that you have our commitment that if we ever do get sponsored monetarily or from a game perspective, that you're always going to get true transparency from the champions here at Champions of Tabletop.
You're going to get my honest opinion. Whether I hate it or like it, you're going to get it. And one of the things Shay said to me very early when we started doing this was, we probably should be careful saying you don't like this studio or you don't like this game or you don't. And I was like, no, I absolutely disagree with that because, and he made a good point. He's like, you're going to ruin those relationships. Well, I would like honesty, 100% honesty. If there's something you come in and you don't like about my store, I want you to be honest with me. That way so I can fix it. Or I can just tell you, too bad, that's not the way I'm working. And we can just get along to get along, right?
He's the get good guy.
Yeah, well, I'm not the get good guy. I'm just saying,
get good, but you're just being
I'm just saying
you're
that
being honest.
I would rather have that relationship with anybody, whether business or not, than have a relationship where I pretend and you go along with me pretending. And I still get things from you. At that point, I'm just using you.
Yeah.
And, those types of things. So, first of all, I'm very easily sold, and I will try anybody's game. I poop on a lot of stuff on the channel, but I will try just about any game that comes to the table because I love the community. I want to try it. I want to play it. Now, I might totally poop on it afterwards, but I will try just about any game that comes to the table.
So we all heard this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know when. I don't know. we're playing Keeping It Sexy on the channel because they've been talking about a whole bunch of times. And he just said, now I know he wasn't part of that playtest. He wasn't part of that event. So we have
I would try it one time, but then I would
one
totally.
good time. We're going to
Jeez.
set it up. We got some new lights. Oh, we're going to. So I just need y'all to, just let people, let us know. If you
I
want
won't
that
like
on
it.
there.
I'll be very upset about it.
Let us
And
know.
I will be mad at you for making me do it, but I would try it.
And I'll be happy. It's right
those
there.
of you
Stop
on
it.
Spotify,
Stop it.
I'm holding the box up because it's right here.
But you got to hold it right.
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
There you
It's just-
go.
We have talked. We have
the bling
given
in the
more
box, I can't even
promotion.
see.
We should be paid by these guys. Who gets a hold of these guys?
Yeah,
What is it? I don't even know.
Funko.
Big G Creative.
Big G Creative. Kenny, put it in my bank account right now. You've got more promotions on this game than you will ever get in your entire life from this channel.
We'll
So
do a how to play.
make it happen.
Maybe.
Put it in my bank
And you know
account.
what? I want to give you credit, Dion. The glue worked because you could see Shay's body literally physically trying to get out
I
of
seen
the
it.
scene.
I seen it. I seen it. The
And
glue's
his
working.
rump was stuck, so he could not get out no matter how bad he tried.
I was thinking earlier that the people on Spotify's really got it made if they're not watching the video because there's some crazy moments here that makes me go, I don't even want to know you guys. So
Better on the eyes. So, all right. We've had somber Shay for a lot of tonight.
yes.
Yeah.
But Shay, it's time to get riled up. Do you know why it's time to get riled up?
I am gonna get some food later.
No,
Oh, maybe I'm gonna get some water.
not at all.
Okay.
You know why it's time to get riled up? Because it's time.
Jump.
I went deep on that one. I felt
You did.
good about that
Did
one.
You did, yeah.
Look like you hurt yourself a little bit.
Vocal cords. All right. So this week in the pit, as you all know, the pit is a chance for us to just shame each other, bash each other, and only one of us is going to come out the winner. So far, I'm 2-1, 3-1.
I think you're just
3-1.
making this
You
up.
are 2-2.
You are
Do
so
we need to go
no,
back to-
not even 2 and
Prove me
2.
wrong.
No, because he lost last
It
week.
doesn't matter. He loses
even
every
said
week.
He lost last
That's
week.
my one loss. That's my
No,
one
that was your
loss.
Oh, my
second.
God.
Anyway,
Yeah. So this week on The Pit, we are going to go through our top 3 solo games. So, gentlemen, who would like to start?
Can I already fall on the sword? We'll let you go first.
no. I
Well,
want
you know, I want to have
Okay,
DF
so
on the
I'm gonna automatically fall on the sword because remember I was like, I'll try anything, I'll play. I don't play solo games. I just don't. If I want to play by myself, with myself, it's a completely different channel.
Kid show.
Kid show.
No, it's not.
If I want to play by myself, I'll play on my PC or I'll play on my Xbox. That's what I'll do. I'll pick up a game of hockey or I'll play anything else if I'm going to play a game by myself. I do not pick
Solitaire?
up
Do you
games to
are
play
you a
by myself.
solitaire guy?
Now, there are a couple I don't play solitaire at all. There's just too many things out there that want my attention that I just don't. I don't unbox a game, open it up, set it up, play it. I'm not saying they're not fun. Some of the best solo games that are being created right now seem like a lot of fun. And if I play them, I want to do a plus, like you always say, a 1+, where I have multiple people and we're just
Two-handed.
playing it. Like we're, oh, hey, what do you want to do? I think that was the only way I even got one of my games because I had to come up with a top 3. So my top 3 will go number 3.
Let's do number 3s. So do your number 3.
So do number 3 would have to be Hostage Negotiator. That would have to be my number 3 game from our friends at Van Ryder. And I didn't get paid to say that, but
Transparency.
yeah, transparency. Don't get me, FTC. It was totally not true.
We don't get paid enough.
We don't
get paid at all.
Paid at
Or
all.
you like and subscribe.
Yes. But Hostage Negotiator, great game. If you've ever played Hostage Negotiator, you are negotiating the release of hostages with somebody who is holding them hostage, obviously.
then makes
And you're
sense with
rolling
the name.
dice. Yes, and you're rolling dice, and it's got some cool things that pops up while you're playing it. It is a really fun, good solo game. Again, I don't play solo games. I played this one with Solo Plus, where someone's like, "If you played it, I'm going to get you into it." They set me down and played it, and I was like, that's cool. I really, really like this one. And that is probably my number 3 if I have to go number 3.
Shay, number 3.
So it's hard for me because
Well, let me start with this.
Yes.
Is your whole are you gonna do Final Girl 1, 2, 3 seasons? Like, is that your 3?
I'm trying not to.
That
Okay.
should be perfect.
Because Final Girl is just a game series.
Because I was
Series.
thinking
Can you do the
about
whole
I'm going to
series?
tell you my
Yeah,
favorite
just all in
3,
one.
my
Yeah.
favorite 3 feature films. I thought that was going to be it because but I mentioned my favorite games multiple times on this channel because I
one's
love
kind of
these
ruined
games.
for you.
So
When you
like,
play solo, a lot of solo
and
games.
I play a lot, and I play a lot of games that has a solo mode.
Yeah.
So like, but these are not going to be a surprise to y'all. Number 3, Heat. Heat.
Okay.
You play Heat solo?
Yes, you can play with AI's Legends.
So I know, but I mean, you play it solo. You enjoy it solo?
Yes, that's how I'm training. Like that last week, last week, literally, I have been training. I have been even streaming it. Me training against AI people, and this me trying to play Heat, because I am mad that I didn't do that thing at Gen Con. I'm coming for it next year. So I have been literally
we
on
might
it.
have to do a series on that.
I'm literally going for it. But so yeah, Heat.
So you're number 3.
Well, I wanted to mention because part of the reason why I came here in the first place to Voss Media was because of the fact that I just want people to play board games with. So the idea of being able to come into a shop and be able to talk about board games was actually a really welcomed thing for me. And so a lot of my gaming is solo. Mr. Blocks, maybe you can pick it up a little bit and play with your dear old dad. I'd love it. But until that day comes,
Name dropped him a lot.
Trying to help him out, man. Need that sweet YouTube cash, pay for college. So first couple things, just a couple honorable mentions, because I do have quite a few. But the 2 honorable mentions I just want to mention real quick. ISS Vanguard. You talked about playing two-handed.
Yes.
That's how I play it. It's such a phenomenal game. Space exploration. A lot of ways you can branch off in the story. I love the exploration side of it. The combat's okay. But to me, that's
it's
such
got a great
wonderful
story
game.
with it too. I love a great story with it.
And like one of our previous episodes, I love apps and games. Sky Tier Horde, which I've actually mentioned before, a big fan of the Sky Tier world. That's just a little basically tower defense card battler. Draw your cards, play your cards, try to defeat the horde, come into to capture, basically defeat you. It's pretty simple. Fit in the Sky Tier world, love it. But my number 3 is one of us came prepared. Maybe you would have came prepared had you dressed all snazzy this week like you did last week for Halloween.
Yeah, I did not.
Yeah, I could tell. I was really proud of you last week. Number 3, for those of you on Spotify, it is Too Many Bones. This is... Have you played this, Dion?
I've seen a lot of play on that,
And
but I've never
really
played it.
wanted to
It is
play
one that's just a little more difficult for me to get my hands on unless I want to pay a little bit money for it. So
yeah, Chip Theory Games, great, phenomenal game.
Yeah.
Brain burner, which is why I wondered if you'd played it. I love the fact that there's so much uniqueness within the different gear locks. It's one of those where you have to truly stick with one character for quite a while just to learn the nuances of their combat and their skills. So it just offers a significant amount of replayability. The story's pretty good. And like I said, the way that you can battle from so many different ways is amazing to me. So that's my number 3.
nice.
Yeah, number 2.
Again, don't play solo. So for me, my number 2 is another one that we set out at the table. I think I played this one with you, Shay. You taught me this one because somebody brought it back because they didn't like it. It was Under Falling Skies. And I was like, I don't play solo. And Shay was here that day and goes, well, we're going to play this together. We're going to do this. And it was really fun going back and forth with him, deciding what we're going to do. So it did feel like, and let me preference saying I don't play solo games again, but by saying that, to me, board games is an opportunity to get people together and not do it by myself. I understand it's a way to pass time, but I have other things that I like to do by myself, like play video games and play, on my Steam account. So I've got a ton of games on that. But for me, board games means more than playing. Not that there's not good solo games, and some of my best things I like about solo games is it allows me to learn it. You can play against the AI, learn how to play it a little bit, get better at it. That's all wonderful. But I like the atmosphere of just, even if I'm doing my own thing and you're doing your own thing from across the way, I still have to have that interaction of us laughing and enjoying each other's time. That's what board games does for me. So solo, number 2, because we had that experience, I think it became my second favorite, if I'm going to say solo game, is Under Falling Skies. I like
Very popular.
And I'm not a dice roller. I'm not, but I felt very asteroidy, like asteroids or like asteroids or space invaders. Like,
Invaders.
yeah, it's very Space Invaders.
Is waiting to drop.
Yeah,
down.
he's waiting. Yeah, it felt very like the video game Space Invaders. It felt very much like that, where you're rolling the dice, you're deciding where you're going to put them based on what you're powering and what you're not, using some cards to help out. And the whole time, this massive ships are coming down to invade your area, which I really I did enjoy that. I'm not, but we played it together, and I think it was more of like, I don't know, what do you think we should do? I don't know what we should do. I don't know. It was that experience more than it was the game itself.
Yeah.
Shay, number 2.
See, it's hard because my number 2 would be like Under Fallen Skies.
Yeah, nothing's wrong with that. We can share.
Okay, we'll share. Because I was about to say Sudoku, but but I know that's not a board game. But literally, I play Sudoku every day. It's the logic of me. Oh no, I don't have to share with you. Number 2, Turing Machine. I told y'all I'm a simple person. I say what I like, and a lot of things I like because I could play it solo.
So simple, he can't create his top 3 list. That's how simple he is.
I feel like
he has so many
week
games.
I gave Shay a
He
list.
didn't bring it.
He didn't bring it.
Did not bring it.
It's Turing Machine. I'm talking about games that I actually played.
Okay, gotcha.
That's the main part. And once I have like 2 or 3 solo games I can play that I actually like, I want to try others. But let me get through that. And especially because like Under Fallen Skies, I haven't got through because there's so many. Because even talking about that, there's like my number 2.
They got like great like campaign mode.
They got great campaign mode. But see, I'm having that trouble because I just thought of another number 2, and I don't want to do that. So
I feel
I'm
like
not
you need
going
to
to
like lock it down.
Actually, I'm just
You're
going
gonna
to
have
lock
to
it
give
down.
him more of a heads up for him to write it down and stay to the script,
Right.
Shay. We're gonna have to
Because-
write that up there. Stay to the script, Shay.
Because can we just put like Final Girl S tier so I can put something I won?
No.
Okay.
So did you do your number 2? You did.
I
You
do.
did Skytear.
No.
Oh.
My number 2 is also in space.
Hey-o.
Under Falling Skies is a great one, but Warp's Edge, for those of you on Spotify. Warp's Edge is a little bit of a bag builder. You basically are acquiring more tokens. You're drawing tokens out that give you the abilities to fight off ships, and you're kind of working your way towards that main baddie, if you will. You're upgrading your ship through the tokens. And so as you pull the tokens out, that's what's giving you basically the ability to kind of figure out what you're going to do with each turn. And every turn gets a little bit more difficult. So there's a little bit of that built-in timer to the game. And this is actually one of the games, kind of back to a previous episode that we talked about of deluxification. To me, it's a simple deluxification. It's not getting into the egregious minis and 6 boxes of expansions. I love acrylic tokens above cardboard. And this game came through with some great acrylic tokens for this and the expansion. It also has a really great neoprene mat that does a good job of educating you how to play too. But just to reach your hand into the bag and feel the tokens versus the cardboard tokens, is just that tactile input to me is just such a wonderful experience builder, which is why I think it's a great deluxification. But yeah, it's something that's simple. It's easy to set up. It's easy to get to the table and play, which to me, I had other games like Hoplomachus Victorium that I wanted to put on, but it takes so long.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It's also one of my issues with ISS Vanguard. Like, it's just some of these things are so hard to put together that it's like by the time you get done with it, I'm ready to go to bed.
Well, probably ISS Vanguard as well. If you're playing it solo, you've got to finish it. Like if you're playing it, because you can't just reset it back up for something else.
Right.
Because once the cards are in order and you've got everything kind of floating along that path, that's one of the problems we had with it. Is after we got like halfway through and then we're like, okay, we can't really get together and play this anymore. I haven't even spent the time to reset it yet.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole reset mechanism on it. So I agree with you on that. That if you're gonna take the time to do it, you're busting through it.
Right.
You know.
This you're literally set up in 3 minutes.
Nice. Renegade as well, right?
Yep,
Yeah, nice.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to the championship. Who gets the title?
Was it number
Dion?
one?
Number one, yeah.
Number
it's
one.
Champion is
Number one. This is a game that I've actually caught myself playing by myself. Okay, so I'd like to play it with more people. So it is a 1 to 4, I believe it is, but it is done by Fantasy Flight Games, and they have a whole living card game section that you could argue one faces the other one. They do Arkham Horror. They also do like the Lords of the Rings series. But I find myself building decks in this Marvel Champions is my number one. I find myself just enjoying building the deck and then quickly running it up against one of their one of the villains, and then playing through and going, oh yeah, that worked really well, and then doing it again. So this one is actually one that I can say for solo play, it's way better with friends, of course. But if you don't have any friends, playing solo by yourself, I really, really enjoyed Marvel Champions.
Why did he look at me when he said that?
Like
that felt like a little bit of a dagger.
No, I'm just. Ow! Ouch.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Too brute. And what are your favorites? Yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
Went to college for that. But what's your favorite hero?
I've been playing with Wolverine when we get a chance to play, but I'm going to plug here. Wednesday nights, they do Marvel Champions here, and sometimes people don't show up to my game that I chose to teach that night, and I've gotten to sneak away and play Marvel Champions with that group, and they have everything. Gosh, every hero that's there. And lately it's been Wolverine. I really want to play Deadpool. That's a newer one that's supposed to be coming out soon. But I've read a lot about him, that his cards look pretty fun to do. But I like Deadpool. Out of the base set, I would probably say it's Spider-Man / really any of them I like to play out of the base set. I think it's fun because they offer different things. And the other one I really enjoy playing is Drax. I think Drax is a lot of fun only because you're taking a lot of the damage and you're bragging it on while everybody else is trying to, help defeat it. So I think as a multiplayer game, it's a great game. Even as a solo player game where I'm building my deck. Oh yeah, where I'm building my deck up and I'm adding cards and then I'm running against somebody and then I go, oh, I really should have removed this one and added this one in. I'm going to do that and see how that comes out. See if that pops up. Yeah. Which is one of the only games in the building here that I actually sleeved. It's not the only, but one of the very few that I've actually sleeved all the entire cards on. I bought a whole nother base set to make sure every character has a starter deck with it. And I highly recommend that as a solo player. If you are a solo player, but also if you can find some friends, Matt, that is a good one.
One day.
You can always come play Marvel Champions with us on Wednesday nights at Voss Media Board Game Cafe. Plug!
Maybe if more people liked our channel, I'd have more friends.
There you go.
Shay, I don't even know why I'm asking you.
Can we? No.
Let me just explain it. Okay.
Does it need an explanation?
It
Watch the first 4 episodes.
Right, first 4. It's Final Girl. I want to just explain a part. It's just a little taste. I brought 2 things.
Now, is this specifically your favorite villain and villain?
This is one of my favorites. I will give you that. It's not. I don't think I have. Like Freddy is probably my best one, but I just brought one that I like, and I'm going to play sometime, actually probably tonight.
What is the name of this one?
This one is Final Girl Wolf Asylum, starring the Ratchet Lady.
That's season 2.
This season 2. Yes, it is.
Nice.
And so I'm going to explain this for people who listen on Spotify. I have one box here, right? I flicked the one side of it. We got the killer. Everything we need to know the killer.
Show that to the audience.
Right there. Boom. All the pieces.
I do like the way they do that. I'm a big fan of that.
This is if you want to play Ratchet Lady, this is what you need. And then you can slip the instructions right there. And then flip around. Wolf Asylum. A little bit of 8, a little bit of what we just said. Boom. Put that there. You want to see the pieces? Boom. Put it there.
They are probably one of the best on the utilization of their box.
I just need my core box, which I can't open it right now because we're not going to use it, and we need to do it for our Thursday this
base
week.
Set, yep.
Base set,
the base set.
But
that's really
that's why, because I can take this out, play freaking in space. I can take this out and have the Wolf Asylum with Jason, who probably shouldn't be there. So like it's. So yes, and lore, the lore book.
Didn't you also print up like this sheet that every time you die, one of those happens?
I have that book too. It's a book.
It's a book like that?
It's a book like that. Nice. It's multiple books of the gruesome thing. Like if I want to play like Ratchet Lady, right? I can go into this lovely book. This is a lore book and lore scenario books for people who are now looking. And I can go to all the Ratchet Lady stuff and I can mix and match it with other killers and they'll have me a little story why.
Did you get the minis with this one? Did you go and buy the minis and the mats?
That is legitimately the one game. And I said that before.
So you deluxified this game.
No, because we said that last week. I was like, there's only one game that I will deluxify. I might even buy sleeves for this game. That is how deep it is.
Wow.
And I don't. And
you
I'm
love
Team
this
No
game.
Sleeve. And we're sponsored and we're partnered with them. Let's go.
That is a big win. Big win for Voss Media Board Game Cafe.
I will say this, that you didn't give credit to this part of it, but you probably were just so exuberant of everything else. They have, I don't have the season 2 stuff yet, but for season 1, arguably one of the best collection tools for all of the different villains.
He's got the big box.
I got the big box with it. It looks like a
He
VHS.
deluxeified it.
Exactly.
It's not deluxe. It came with it. If you turn it to the side, it looks like a VHS. Anyway.
Everything on it.
Well, I mean,
they-
even
the
like the
attention
mat
to
has like a
detail.
VHS, and so you
Yeah.
can set it up to where it looks like you're picking your VHSs, and
Yeah.
which is great for like the theme, what it does. They really, and again, they're not paying us, but they really knocked it out of the park with
They're
this one.
not paying
This
us.
is a really good,
This
and like I
is
said,
just-
they make some of the best solo games. Hostage Negotiator has this mode that I haven't played yet. I'm so excited, to where you can purchase. It's like the career mode, and you deal with like all the things outside of the hostage negotiation, which is, to me, I'm excited to play, and I'm not excited to play single player games. I want to play them with other people, which we will be doing an unboxing here as well. So come join us, and we will be getting into it. And I'm very excited to see they probably have the best like utilization
Cleaning
of their
up.
box.
I can't say. Like I said, they're S tier. They're past 1 for me. Final girl.
So you're number 1.
I don't know how I followed up, but so my
Garbage. I
number
can't even
one-
believe you would bring it. I'm just. Actually, it is made by one of my favorite publishers.
Eagle Griffin Games. Yeah. So my number 1 for those on Spotify is Baseball Highlights 2045. This was one of the first games I got when I got into the board game space. And the reason I got it was because I was a baseball guy, played in college. And so any way to get connected to this new hobby that I was trying to get into was easy, especially when it was a hobby that I loved. And so what I really was drawn to was the fact that in the solo version, you can play other people, of course. It's a 1 to 4 player game, but it's a deck builder, which I'm a sucker for. I love deck builders. I love the simplicity of the back and forth game of playing a card and kind of the retaliation of the other side to dictate whether it's a hit, whether it's an out, moving your pieces on the really nice neoprene mats that they have with it to kind of dictate where they are on the field, first base, second base, third base, etc. And then you go into like a draft mode of trying to acquire more humans or robots to be on your team to enhance them so your team gets better, a little more efficient, more effective. The solo mode is great though because again it's simple, it's easy. You're gonna lose a little bit more up front when you're first starting to play as you go through the season because the computer deck, if you will, is already stacked where you have to kind of build up towards it. So it gives you that rewarding feeling when you're building the right way and you're adding the right players to your team as you start to kind of catch up and then feel yourself surpass them. So it gives a lot of reward in that sense. So to me, again, the theme, it's so hard. I've said this many times on this channel. I'm a sports guy. So the theme is right up my alley. And like I said, it's a simple game. You can teach people in 5 minutes. And if you have people in your life who are sports fans, it's an automatic. The hard part is getting access to it. I think they did a reprint about a year ago, but
I can get access to it. Order it at Voss Media Board Game Cafe.
there you go.
So I steered away from getting that only because sports games has a bad rep when it comes to, unless it's a toy or you're flicking something. Board games,
69% of our viewers disagree with you.
but when you have like baseball highlights or football, like I've got a couple of them in the building here, and you're using cards to do certain things. It removes, I think, some of the fun of the sport. Does that do that for you in this game at all, or does it just kind of encourage you to?
I mean, am I going to get the same experience playing this as what I would like triple play back in the old day of the EA Sports baseball game? No, of course not. My favorite video game of all time is on the NES. It's called Little League Baseball.
Oh yeah.
I could still sing the music. I always played as Canada. Peter,
Mine was Ken
number
Griffey
3.
Jr. for the Super NES. I loved that one. So
And so with that said, is it going to replace that? No. But when I want to be away from a screen and I want to share the love of sport, because again, you're basically a little version of war, basically between you and the opponent or the computer deck. but everything is so thematic to it
Nice.
that, based on the strength of your card, oh, now I get a double. Oh, they played a card that's going to cause me to get an out. I added a new pitcher who's going to be stronger and give my defense more strength. So that it's so thematic that, again, is it going to replace a video game? Probably not. But when you don't want to be sitting in front of a screen, I think it's a wonderful experience.
Absolutely.
And there's a reason why it really had a cult following.
It did. And it's still really, there's a ton of expansions on Eagle. And that's one of the reasons why I steered away. I was really scared of getting something like that on the shelf and everybody just picking it up and feeling the same way they feel about any other, sports kind of games. But I love managing. Like I'm big into like Football Manager where I'm managing my own, and they have a new 11 that looks amazing. I'm not even a soccer fan, but I would love to get that to the table. Do you really? I would love to get that to the table and just give it a shot, because I think it would be great to build your team and then make trades and then.
And that is far more a football. Football. So soccer. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Shay was like, okay, let's move on. But that is very much a management game.
Yeah, and I want to play it.
The playing of the game is a very small part of that game. So much of it is off-field player acquisition, practicing, managing your team, almost like franchise of Madden back in the day.
Nice.
So it was a lot more like, where do we play at? What's our team? What's the costs? So I think it would really be up your alley. But yeah, this is just pure playing. There's no. The only management is like at the end of rounds, like a lot of games, you'll have like Dune Imperium, for example. You can play cards that will give you basically a currency for the purchasing of new cards.
Yes.
And it kind of has that bit to it of playing certain cards that will give you a currency that you can then use to acquire new players from the bench, or, the free agency, as they call it. So, like I said, it's not going to replace a lot of things, but when you're sitting at a table, you want to be away from a screen. It gives you and again, the neoprene play mats are like a diamond, baseball diamond.
Really nice. They did a really good job on the production of it. Yeah. And like I said, they dumped a lot of money into it. There's people that really get into it.
And I will say this, I think a lot of the expansions are not necessary at all.
Yeah.
Because not knowing anything, and it was one of the first ones I bought, so I didn't mind spending extra money, which I probably wouldn't do today. But like, I got all of the teams thinking they would be different, and they're not. It's just like basically all of the same starter decks, but just with different team names on them. So I was a little disappointed about that. It didn't feel worth it at all. And if I could go back in time, I wouldn't do it. But I wanted I'm a Detroit guy. I'm a Tigers guy. So I wanted, not the Detroit Tigers in the game, but they're Detroit. I wanted to represent them. But in retrospect, that was a waste of money.
I'd be interested. Maybe we can get it to the table sometime.
So with that said, I have to say it was a tie. Shay and I definitely tied. Dion, you lost that. So
I totally won.
I
came out of nowhere as a guy that doesn't play solo.
Like, I don't even play.
I don't. I don't play solo games, and I still put three amazing solo games on the table.
Solo games, and then expect to win the solo game.
You come out of the pit
because
battered, bruised friend.
I
don't even play them, and I still picked three amazing games.
But you do play them. You just
I just don't play them solo.
You play solo with friends.
But Shay, Van Ryder games, I got to support them because they're our partners. But man, oh man, those are some heavy hitters. But I'm not going to back down on mine. So
no, that's legit. No,
we're going to tie.
We're going to tie. Okay.
Yes.
Dion's throwing a big donut though. He has not left the pit once clean.
No.
So.
Well, I mean, y'all kind of double teaming with deluxification.
No, remember, there's only one winner. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Wait, 3 games. There's only one winner.
We tied.
How did we tie then? There's only one winner.
In transparency, I make the rules. So, that's how it is. All right, feet to the fire, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
The part that causes panic and anxiety in Shay. So with that said, this week, AI Bot did a great job last week. So AI Bot, thank you for that. We don't want to forget you over there.
Please stop calling me.
AI Bot don't want you.
I paid way too much money for that kind of response. It really upsets me.
I think you got the upgrade, the SaaS upgrade.
You got the SaaS. SaaS 2.0.
Was that like hidden in the heart?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the heart.
I spent a lot of money on heart.
Yeah, that's why.
King SaaS.
Yes.
What's the return policy on that?
Keeping it sassy.
Yes, we're playing it on the channel. I don't know how. I'm making it work.
Somebody needs to reach out to Kenny G. This is getting ridiculous.
Like
at this point, it is going to be like it's
Kenny
horrible.
G came on our channel.
No,
that.
he would not. He's probably hiding from the embarrassment of how horrible the game is.
Have Kenny G have a little band happening right here, and then we can be playing the game while trying to keep it sexy.
I'm sure he's hiding from it.
I don't know. I mean, it's Big G creative. Like, how can that? It's from Tennessee. Like, I just don't know how that can be him.
Where's the email?
I feel like he gave a check mark.
Where's the email?
Thumbs up on that one. Oh, we may have to reach out. You've gotten more free advertising from us.
Next week, I need a help sign so I can just hold up.
All right.
The thing is, I don't even bring it up. That's what makes it better.
Now, AI bot, I want you to be aware of something here. Even though you are not real, and Brandon did call us one time begging to come back, and I said, nay, you are not welcome back. AI bot was just too good. He did beg, but we did not let him come back. So, with that said, AI bot, I want you to respond, even though we know that you have a heart now and you can feel love, and we know you're not married. So this isn't going to totally apply to you, but I'd still love a response. Here is the feet to the fire.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm going to pick Dion. You're going to go first, then Shay, then AI bot.
Get a little extra help. There you go.
Here we go. You get your non-board game playing spouse to come to your friendly local game store to play something for the first time. What game are you going to play or pick for them? One, go. Dion, go.
Probably something with like Harry Potter or the Harry Potter deck builder. That's what I would pick.
That's exactly my answer too.
Really?
Nice job,
Yeah,
man.
there we go.
Nice
The
job.
Fugitive.
The Fugitive.
The Fugitive.
Was this a real story that happened for you?
No. I can think of right now. The Fugitive is the perfect thing. And why would that be a real story
No, like
for
did
me?
you play that with your wife? Like the way you said it, you're like, oh, we already played this. This already happened to me. We came in and played this game.
What the Fugitive?
What am I missing? Like I feel like I'm missing something.
No, we're just gonna pass through.
We're gonna go.
Okay, we're just gonna pass through it.
No, say like you said it like, hey, I brought my wife in here and we played.
We understand. We're here. Okay.
These lights are getting really hot right now.
I feel like I'm missing something.
Yes, you are. That's okay. So the Fugitive is. I don't have to explain because I've explained. I'm putting my feet to the fire. But yeah,
Okay.
it's the Fugitive.
Yeah. Okay. AI bot.
Forgotten Waters.
Oh my God.
Is there a story there, Dion? Does AI bot have a little bit of like Brandon residual in him, or
AI is just poking fun at Brandon. I think at this point Brandon should
Mocking him that he's not
he's
here.
mocking Brandon at this
Okay.
point. I think that's what the AI bot is doing.
okay?
Little backstory for those of you that aren't part of the community here, get part of the community. Anyway, for those of you that are part of the community, Brandon's wife doesn't like anything with a story.
Oh,
Like she likes to just play a good solid game, which is there's a lot like Ark Nova she enjoys. There's a few games that she's really good at and enjoys. That's funny because we actually tried to get her to play Forgotten Waters and she was like, I don't want to read no darn story. I just want to play the game. And so it's very story-based driven, kind of almost like a role-playing game. So that's why I think that the AI bot is picking fun at Brandon, and you're bad for that. Bad AI bot.
well, I love the AI bots throwing some shade.
Planning world domination.
You know, he says that enough, and I start to worry a little bit.
Fair.
All right, good luck.
I wonder if he has a Google Chrome extension.
We'll
we could
run him a
add.
Kickstarter. Oh, sore subject. Sorry.
Well, that's just more throwing away money. All right. So with that, we're going to move on to our game of the week.
Hey-o.
This is our chance to share with you something we've played that we think we want to highlight. Shay, why don't you go first?
So the game of the week I didn't get to play, but I really wanted to play. That's Halloween by Trick or Treat.
really good.
I know. I seen it, and it's like hidden. It's a hidden movement. I like hidden movement, and
I was a little upset that they only had 1 to 4 players, though. Like
Yeah.
I thought it would be 1 to 6, 1 to 5, because 1 is the bad, of course. So I was a little upset with that. But when you die, you can come back as another character from the show. And I understand they had some IP type of, things that they were trying to make work.
Right.
So, but the game was I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It's a good hidden movement game.
I want to play it so badly. It's staring.
When you move the pieces, they have a way that they look. And if they don't see, like, you could literally be Michael Myers the entire time and just sneaking behind them if they never take a look in your direction, which is amazing to and then you have to put your miniature out there if they bump into you. Like, they could just run down the street and then bump into you, and then it's like, I'm here, by the way. Now I get a free attack because you just bump into me. This is it. Sorry. I'm very excited for it.
I feel like you are, yeah.
Like, okay, this is coming out.
Making you feel really bad.
This is coming out in 2 weeks. I know that, but how about can we play, please? I want to play.
So if you'd like to play with Shay, comment in the section below and let them know, Shay. I want to keep it sexy with you.
I don't bring it up. I don't bring it up. See, look at that.
Mine will be Detective City of Angels.
Okay.
It is a Van Ryder game. What's really cool about this game is that everybody at the table are detectives, and you're not trying to solve the crime together. You're actually trying to mislead other detectives in order to take all the glory for yourself, which is
like real life.
A total. Well, it takes place in like the 40s, I think. So it has that.
No, like real life
vibes. Yeah. See, I don't know where that went.
Come on down the foray.
I don't. I just know.
I call my wife a dime all the time.
That
you look like a dime, darling.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. It is one of Van Ryder's shining gems that it kind of gets pushed aside under Fallen Girl. Yeah, and it's really fun. They did the City of Angels is one that what?
He said Fallen
Girl.
Fallen Girl. Oh, I'm sorry, Final Girl. Did I say Fallen Girl?
Maybe
I was going to fall on the sword.
Sky.
Yeah, I'm sorry to fall on the sword next week and put.
How many times he said that game and you literally got it wrong?
Every episode he said that game.
I don't try to say it. He's just
anyway, Final Girl, Hostage Negotiator. They also have a few other games that we'll be mentioning throughout the week that I will be, because I'm their partner and they like to join forces with Voss Media Board Game Cafe. But I highly recommend playing Detective City of Angels. If you want to play it, we are doing an unboxing for it for the store. Tomorrow, actually, when this comes out, it'll be that day. So that day that this comes out, we are going to unbox it at the store. If you want to come play it.
Perfect. My game of the week is going to be one that I've seen highlighted a little bit, which kind of sparked me to pull it off the shelf of shame. And back to one of the issues you can sometimes have with solo games is the amount of stuff to set up that can dissuade you. And this is actually why it's been on my shelf of shame for so long, because it's just so daunting to set up. There's so many parts to cardboard to cut out, cards to shuffle, things to set up, and that is this War of Mine.
Oh, that is
by
really
Awakened
good
Realms, one of the first ones from Awakened Realms. As you guys
That's
know,
really
Awakened Realms, one of my favorite publishers. This was one of their first big ones, and it was a brain burner. God rest the souls of my poor people suffering in that post-war world. They did not survive. It's my fault too, so that I do carry guilt with me. But it was fun. It was exciting. I left it on the table mainly because I was tired and I didn't want to put it away because it was going to take forever. So I'm hoping to get a few more plays in. But obviously a little timely with everything going on in Eastern Europe. So it kind of hit home a little bit there. But they really did a phenomenal job.
They did an amazing job with that game. Even to bring it to, it's one of those that we didn't mention when we were talking about IP video games and board games, and that is one that definitely needs to be highlighted there, that we missed the boat on that one. That's one of the fall on the swords right away. But the video game itself is an amazing game. That's the problem I have with solo games. If I'm going to take the time to set it all up, I can literally just click a button, boot it up, and it's in my hand. I'm ready to play.
But I will say, I think it's a different experience because the game is so much more active and always moving. I feel like there's less, in my opinion, less time to think because the time is always ticking down. You're moving your guy around your
broken down house or whatever. Yeah. But you're always doing something within that. And you don't get to strategize as much, but I think part of it is your strategy actually working as you're trying to figure it out as you go.
And I agree with that. But I think this, in a way, kind of hits a little bit different in a better way for me because it gave me time to sit and think about where to go next, what to do next.
Yeah.
As you're in the moment, it gives you time to think about how you want to handle maybe a potential conflict. Gives you a little bit more time in your hostel to decide what you want to upgrade, what you want to improve. So to me, I like that time just to sit and kind of
called the pause button.
Okay.
But you're not in the game when you pause button. You're getting a sandwich when you pause button.
Yeah, you're right. It's a great pick. I like your pick this week. It's a great pick.
And since
it's one that's kind of been swept under the rug, but it's another really good one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the only way I roll.
That's one that's very hard to get for me too. So
I will say this in an effort to always win the favor of AI, because one day it will, of course, take over the world. AI bot, do you have one to add for your game of the week this week?
No.
Bear's too busy planning to take over the world. That's the game it's playing.
Yeah.
The game it's playing is taking over the world.
Yeah.
It's
All right. Well,
maniacal. It's
Isn't
stolen
that
version.
Twilight
Roll with the
Imperium?
bot.
Isn't that the game?
What's that?
Twilight Imperium taking over the world?
No.
Like the one over there?
The
Yeah,
universe.
it's not,
Well,
the
you're
universe.
trying
Not
to
really. Well, you're not really
take
taking
over
over the
the
universe. You want to.
No, I'm not
I mean, you could also
I'm not
win by
talking about
surviving together.
Twilight Struggle.
It's all about points.
Twilight Struggle, that game. Because one's, anyway, sorry.
Yeah, it's
just-
U.S. and Russia.
Yeah, see, taking over the world. So that's what,
No,
that's the,
that's not taking over the world either. That's just 1v1.
Becoming a superpower is kind of taking over the world.
right.
You're dominating the global cultural
It's
world.
a game I'm not going to play, but I know that.
You should. It's a really good game.
Anyways.
Me and war games.
So with that, gentlemen,
Yes.
we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Again, we want to thank our partners at Van Ryder Games and, of course, Voss Media. So thank you. And again, to Dion, congratulations on what's more important than board games, which is family and expanding your family. We're glad everybody's healthy and happy. Your wife will be happier when you get home. And you're there to help out, but I know you're a loving dad, and you're going to do your best to take care of them. So, again, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, any closing thoughts?
Yes. Batman, the Batman Returns board game, I didn't shout you out, but it's for the reasons of you have a lot of stuff, so I didn't have time to really put you up and play enough.
Oh,
but
for the
that would have
solo
been a
mode.
solo.
Yeah.
Like that's a solo game, and I heart that, and I wanted to say it, but I think I know the reasons, and that's those the reasons. But
Okay.
I heart that. I actually got some 3D printing that I got to pick up at my local library.
Oh, nice.
Of a little shelf so I can play it more. Anyway.
Okay. Deanna, any closing thoughts?
Just thank you guys for your time. Appreciate it. And same bat channel, same bat place next week. So
All right. AI bot, anything you want to add before we wrap up?
This show is awesome. Now, with 100% less Brandon.
No.
Wow.
No, we're not doing
it's
that.
Hashtag
No, we're going to start
Justice
the
for Brandon.
hashtag right now.
Justice for Brandon. Yeah.
Look, I get it. AI's easy.
Cheaper, too.
AI's
a lot cheaper.
It's
Well,
cheaper.
I don't know about cheap. Well,
But it's near. I'm saying, but we want quality. And I know Brandon is quality. Hopefully this is my camera. But if it is
It's
not the
not,
camera,
it's
that is the camera. We put a sign for you. But the sign is pointing to that camera.
no, it is pointing over the camera.
Wait,
I
just
quit.
Let it go.
I don't
Just
know.
not
Just
hashtag
done.
justice for
Just
Brandon.
cut it.
No hope for Shay.
Call it.
Well, with that, I think that's a horrible place to end, but that's where we're going to choose to end. And if you want to see Brandon back with the show, let us know in the comments. But again, like, subscribe. Everything helps the algorithm.
5 stars.
5 stars on Spotify. Checking us anywhere. We'd love to converse with you, build the community. So with that, we'd like to say you can do anything with your time. We thank you for spending it with us this week. And with that, we'll end with saying, champions never stop gaming.
Champions never stop. Oh. I tried to. I was there.
You were
I was trying. At least I tried.
Done.
half-hearted.
Done. I gotta get home.